First at 9 on 7 News, we are following breaking news. 7 News sources say the car tied to the person of interest in the Brown University shooting has been found up in Salem, New Hampshire. We are live on that scene where police are at a storage facility right now. So is the FBI, police from Providence and New Hampshire State Police as well, police from Massachusetts. Police in Salem, New Hampshire say there is no information right now to indicate an imminent risk to the public or residents of Salem. A lot to get to. We've also learned today that police are investigating a possible link between the shooting at Brown University on Saturday and the killing of an MIT professor in Brookline on Monday. That's according to sources with the Associated Press.
It has been a very busy day. We've had a lot of developments in the case. We've been staying on top of it really closely. Right now, what you're looking at is we are awaiting an update from police there in Providence. We've been saying that for a long time. They've postponed an earlier news conference. Now officials are telling us that they will give us an update at some point tonight, and you can see all of the microphones there. So we will definitely be bringing that to you live the second that it happens. We do have 19 coverage in all of the developments. Our crews are everywhere. They're live in 3 different states tonight. We're going to start off with the night team. Steve Cooper, he has been covering this from the very beginning, every detail. And Coop, bring us up to speed on what we've learned, what the latest is.
All right, Jadian, so appears that there's some sort of movement here because suddenly, just a matter of moments ago, I'm looking around here, everyone has come back into the room where we're expecting a news briefing. And remember, it was supposed to happen at 4 o'clock, and here we are 5 hours later, and we're beginning to learn that there may be some movement here, so we'll let you know. I'm just trying to keep monitoring what's going on. But just to back up, you have a situation up in Salem, New Hampshire right now. As we have mentioned, law enforcement sources are telling 7 News that the vehicle of the person of interest was located earlier today in the area of Salem, New Hampshire. And now the focus tonight is on that storage facility, which is right off of Route 28, right off of 213 between 495 and 93 in the Merrimack Valley, and that is the area that those tactical teams have gone to and are focused on right now. But all this coming after the Associated Press first reported earlier this afternoon that this person of interest, the person that they were looking for in connection with the mass shooting in Providence, Rhode Island at Brown University over the weekend, that person had been identified but hadn't been located and was considered armed and dangerous. And then our sources were telling us that it appears that there may be a connection between what happened at the mass shooting on the Brown University campus on Saturday afternoon and the murder in Brookline this week of an MIT professor.
I've just heard that we are 20 minutes away from a news conference. Let's let our viewers know that 20 minutes from now, 20-minute warning that we will be hearing from investigators down in Providence, Rhode Island. So that puts us at about 9:25. We'll be getting an official update finally from investigators. But John, back to the evidence response teams there. What does that typically mean when the FBI sends evidence response teams into a crime scene or potential crime scene?
Well, that's when the police have moved from a search mode, from an elevated risk mode to an evidence gathering mode. That's when they go in with the white gloves, the booties, and they're going to get information. They're going to take pictures. They're going to try to pull DNA. They're going to take swabs, and they're going to completely process the scene. So this has the feel of a situation that is not dangerous at this point.
The Salem Police Department did put out a public notice, and I'm going to read part of it for you. It says, at this time, there's no information indicating an imminent risk to the public or residents of Salem. They go on to say, however, we encourage everyone to remain vigilant and exercise heightened caution.
Steve Cooper reporting live with some new information. Steve, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Adam, we're being told by multiple law enforcement sources that this person of interest, the suspect in connection with the Brown University shooting from over the weekend, is in fact dead. He was found inside a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire, a short time ago, and we are expecting to hear from authorities here in Providence, Rhode Island, within the next few minutes.
Take you down to Providence, Rhode Island. The mayor has stepped up to the podium, flanked by law enforcement from the Providence community, also from the state of Rhode Island, and the 9 or so federal agencies that have been involved in this case as it began Saturday there in Providence and has now stretched into day 6 and perhaps has stretched into 2 other states alone from Providence, Rhode Island. You see also the state's attorney general, the police chief of the Providence Police. They've lowered that screen where they have shown videos. Maybe it'll be part of their presentation. Let's listen to the mayor.
This is the man that authorities say shot up Brown University and the MIT professor in Brookline. They found him later, and he had taken his own life. We'll give you a live look at that facility at this hour. There had been a lot of police activity there all night long. Enforcement had surrounded the building, and as you can see by these live images, police are still there as they gather any kind of evidence or clues. The man is identified as Claudio Neves Valente. He was a former Brown University student. Last class he took was in 2001, and again, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
That's right, and a lot of details that we learned coming out of that press conference tonight, a lot about the investigation that we have been following so closely since Saturday, and the Attorney General there talking about how sophisticated he was in covering his tracks, even saying that he was using a cell phone that wasn't traceable, paying for things that wasn't traceable, and so calculated. And then we learned later on that he had actually gone to school with the MIT professor many years ago in Lisbon, Portugal. A connection there is why another reason they fundamentally believe that he is the person responsible for both of these shootings, and then continue to lay out reasons why they believe that they have their person. And then tonight we have a resolution in this case.
They have released many details, many more still to come, but you sort of can piece together a motive when you hear that he had a connection, former student at Brown University, and a former student with this professor in Portugal many years ago. We continue our coverage tonight with Steve Cooper. He is in Providence, and he has been there pretty much all week long. So sounds like this has come to an end. They don't believe anyone else was involved.
Right, Kim, and after an hour-long news conference here at police headquarters, we learned new details about this gunman and how police were able to track him down and eventually find his body in Salem, New Hampshire, just a short time ago. And again, a lot of moving parts here, a lot of agencies involved. Let's go right to the video and show you for the first time these new images released by authorities of this suspect. He's 48 years old, and they say they linked him to a car rental agency in Boston not long ago, and they were able to track him down through flock cameras, meaning plate readers that were able to track down that vehicle. They were able to get to that car agency in Boston. We're told it's over by the aquarium, and it was there that they were able to get these pictures of the suspect, and not long after that, they tracked him to New Hampshire, and then tonight, tactical teams went in and located his body along with 2 firearms next to him.
Police presence at the storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire lasted for several hours this evening. The 19th Stephen Quinn was there for all of it. He joins us now live in Salem with more of our breaking news coverage tonight. Stephen.
And continues even now, Jadian. I can tell you that just a few minutes ago, we actually witnessed a truck, a flatbed, brought back in here, presumably to take that vehicle, the one that we now know had multiple license plates and ended up at some point here at this storage facility.
Finally, tonight, after all those hours of delay to get that word, and you heard Colonel Perez at the podium and then certainly here tonight saying, you know, we got him and it's over. And I think that just that fact alone for the people here in Rhode Island, people in Massachusetts, obviously affected by the death, the murder of that MIT professor, and then everything that happened up in Salem, New Hampshire over the past couple of hours, there's just a huge relief that this manhunt is now over.
We're taking a look at the victims, the first 2 there, the students at Brown University who were killed on Saturday night. Of course, 9 students were also injured. Some are from out of the hospital, recovering at home now, but there are still hospitalized students. And then Nuno Loureiro was the MIT professor, physics major, who we've learned went to school at the same time as this shooting suspect. So we can't forget the lives lost, obviously, and this is the man responsible. Sounds like he rented a car in Boston, drove to Brown University, then he made his way back to Boston, to Brookline and then to Salem, New Hampshire. And this was the scene tonight in Salem, New Hampshire, when they figured out this guy had made his way in a rental car north to this storage facility, and they found he had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.